Maieutik. Serving human resources specialists since 1998. Maieutik psychosocial analysis, number 1, brain activation, first resources. Did you know that? Since 1998, Maieutik has been providing companies, human resources consulting firms, recruiting firms, headhunters, with analyses that highlight the strengths and human qualities of the individual. At the individual level by identifying the cerebral resources activated by its brain, intuitive intelligence, logical intelligence, rational intelligence, emotional intelligence, among other things. In its interpersonal relationships by highlighting the foundations on which its leadership relies, individuality, mobilization, centralization, altruism, among other things. At work, in its activities by highlighting its zones of optimal performance, its talents to innovate, build, manage, administer, assist, among other things. These are the clients who, in a hiring process, in a process of evaluating the person's strengths and human qualities, in a team building process, in a process of assignment to new functions, in a promotion process, have asked people to fill out the questionnaire. The statistics that we present here were established, over the years, from the results of the respondents to the Maieutik questionnaire. Statistical analysis of this data has allowed us to observe some rather surprising facts, both from a psychological and sociological point of view. These observations apply to all social classes, to all levels of education, to all hierarchies of positions and functions, in all types of jobs, in all types of government, private and public organizations. These findings can help human resources specialists in their management of the most important wealth of any organization, its human capital. To facilitate the chronological identification of these analyses, they will all bear the same title followed by a number and a subtitle. Here is the Maieutik psychosocial analysis, number 1, brain activation, first resources. Not all people work the same way. Do you know for what reasons? One of the reasons is that the cerebral resources are not activated in the same way in each individual. In 2020, for 60% of respondents, their brains first activated the resources of their rational intelligence. For 31% of respondents, their brains first activated the resources of their logical intelligence. For 9% of respondents, their brains first activated the resources of their emotional intelligence. For 0.09% of respondents, their brains first activated the resources of their intuitive intelligence. And these cerebral activations condition all our reactions, all our behaviors, all our interpersonal relationships, all our activities. First, details on people's behavior according to their first cerebral activation. Rational intelligence. Functioning by rational reasoning. Strength, cautiousness. This makes the person inclined to rely on the validated, the proven. Identify with a group, an organization. Adopt the values and beliefs of the group to which it belongs. Logical intelligence. Functioning by logical comprehension. Strength, open-mindedness. This makes the person inclined to rely on logic and common sense. Rely on proof and counter-proof to support its argument. Try to make logical what in its eyes is not logical. Emotional intelligence. Functioning by emotional reaction. Strength, devotion. This makes the person inclined to react emotionally to stimuli from the environment. Seek esteem, appreciation, and recognition from those around it. Intuitive intelligence. Functioning by intuitive deduction. Strength, boldness. This makes the person inclined to dare. Follow its impulses, its inspirations. Think and act differently from others. Go against the tide. Did you know that in 1999, the distribution of cerebral resource activations was quite different? In 1999, for 47% of the respondents, the brain activated the resources of rational intelligence first. In 2020, this percentage was 60%, an increase of 13%. In 1999, for 50% of the respondents, the brain activated the resources of logical intelligence first. In 2020, it is only 31%, a decrease of 19%. In 1999, for 3% of the respondents, the brain activated the resources of emotional intelligence first. In 2020, it is 9%, an increase of 6%. A hypothesis to explain this shift in brain activations. This increase and stabilization from 2002 of the activation of the resources of rational intelligence and emotional intelligence. Could they be attributable to the social networks because they answer the needs of identification, belonging, esteem, valorization that people are looking for? Except that Facebook was created in February 2004, Twitter in March 2006, Instagram in October 2010. So they can't be responsible for this shift in activations. But surely the shift of the cerebral activations was favorable to their expansions, and we will see this in subsequent presentations. Since 2002, the activation of cerebral resources has evolved and stabilized. With a median for rational intelligence of 59%, for logical intelligence of 33%, for emotional intelligence of 9%, for intuitive intelligence of 0.15%. The brain's activation of intuitive intelligence resources affects few people over the entire period. So we will leave this resource for now, we will come back to it when we deal with resource sequences. The activation of the resources of the rational intelligence. After a low point of 47% in 1999, the activation of this resource increased by 12% from 1999 to 2002, it took over part of the decrease of the logical intelligence. The variation of results from 2002 to 2020 has been relatively constant, ranging from 55 to 62%. The median over this period is 59%. The activation of logical intelligence resources peaked in 1999 with 50% of the sample activating this resource. We also note, from 1999 to 2002, a decrease from 50 to 33%, a drop of 17%. We also note that from 2002 to 2020, the results were relatively constant, varying between 28 and 34%, with the exception of 2009, when there was an increase to 38%. The median over this 19-year period is 33%. The activation of emotional intelligence resources. In 1999, for 3% of the sample, the brain activated this resource first, then a constant increase on the following years with fluctuations playing between 7 and 11%. This resource was shared with rational intelligence, the decrease that logical intelligence experienced. The median from 2002 to 2020 is 9%. Another hypothesis: if the proportion of people whose brains are active first, the resources of their logical intelligence remained at the same level as in 1999, at 50%. Would social networks have known such a great success and so quickly? From empirical observations, it appears that people who have a combination of logical intelligence plus intuitive intelligence are less present on social networks. Their presence is mainly for professional reasons. They don't feel the need or the relevance to share, or even display, moments of their life to as many people as possible. We can therefore deduce that social networks would probably have achieved less success and less rapidly. In the next presentation, we will talk about the sequence of cerebral resources that the brain activates, the evolution of these sequences over the years, the differences between these sequences, the evolution of these gaps over the years. We will verify certain hypotheses. Among other things, if these sequences and their evolutions have opened the way to the rise of populism, Trumpism, nationalism. All classes of society are affected by these changes. Their psychological and social repercussions have had and still have an economic and political impact.